100th episode, folks.
Yes. Welcome. Hold on. I gotta have a hat on, or everybody will yell at me. So we are live.
Oh my God, I'm all. Appreciate you having me for a few minutes.
If y'all only knew what was really going on.
Deep in my closet for that one.
Damn, I'm gonna have to turn the fan off.
I didn't even know I was gonna pull it out.
Oh my God, that's a little.
We are live for episode 100. Hey Sean, Falsey, me, I wrote Carlisle had a bunch of pumpkin pie. He wrote on here. Oh, we have Andy on here.
What's up, Andy?
So welcome everybody. This is the 100th again. Let's talk.
Congrats.
Can't believe I've done that many of them. It feels like it just started. But what's up, Ray? You missed my joke. I hope you go back and watch it. Mike, hey Mike, I didn't text you last night. You know, I wish y'all luck the first. Maybe I need to wish y'all luck every night. You know, it worked.
You probably do.
I worked the first night, so you know, I feel.
That was a hell of a first night.
Hey, I was like, man, if they can win the sloppy ones, they got something going on here. You know, coming back from 5 runs like that. I knew that team's got heart. That's the way they've been playing this whole second half of the season. So I got to give you props on that one. Since this is my 100th, we might have some guests popping on, whatever. Hey, James, James even saying go Phillies, the old Yankee fan. So, you know.
A lot of people jumping on that Phillies bandwagon, or is it a lot of people jumping on that anti-Astro bandwagon? Yeah. One way or the other.
And I've told you before, like, you know, I would like to see Mancini get a ring. But it's been so fun watching you guys, all the Philly guys, just, you know, it's like when I was living in Iowa when the Cubs finally were doing something. It just was fun. You get kind of sucked into it a little bit. I can't imagine the buzz going around for tomorrow night's game up in the Philly area. It's got to be like electricity just around there.
It is a sea of red wherever you go. You go into a supermarket, Philly stuff everywhere. You go, you know, into another store, Philly stuff everywhere. Like wherever you go, everyone's geared up. It's been fun. It's been it's been crazy, and it's weird because it's like, at least for me, there's always that like little part of you that's kind of like, you notice the bandwagon. It's like, where were all you sons of bitches the last 5 years? Like, but at the same time, there's room on the bandwagon, and it is fun. And I understand it.
Right.
I understand people getting excited, and a lot of people, like, the Phillies, like, attendance wise haven't been good the last couple years. They, you know, a lot of season ticket effect with the whole pandemic thing, right? And a lot of people just got used to not going. So you go to a couple games a year as opposed to maybe 10, like that adds up. Besides the fact that obviously the product wasn't necessarily always great, but like their TV ratings and all that stuff's always fantastic. Yeah. So they're just not getting the buzz. They can at times get overshadowed by the push for football talk sometimes. But obviously they have a great following.
When he thought the Phillies were out of it there after they got swept by the Braves, he was like, well, it's on the football season now. You know, and he's a big 76ers fan. He's from Philly, but now, you know, he's loving life right now with the Eagles and the Phillies. And what's so awesome is just this team, just the will to win. Even Ray, I watching y'all, I missed y'all's live the other night.
It was good.
I watched the replay of it. For some reason, for Wescaris, I don't get his stuff. I got the bell struck on there, but it won't tell me when he puts up new videos or comes live.
Mine didn't do it either. I was just going through and it said live.
Yeah, and I've been trying. I want to do a room, for lack of better terminology, another display like I did in my old house where I am now. How I got my apartment set up. So I've been really working on that instead of talking about it. I want to show it off a little bit. How I got it set up now. I've got Reese. How you doing, Reese? But there's just the fight. It just reminds me of the Nationals when the Nationals won.
Especially the bandwagon.
Yeah. And,
I was sending messages out. Walgreens suck this,
Yeah. Well, I had so much fun then because living in Central Virginia, that's Nationals territory. It's been Braves territory for so long. But it was fun to go home in October and visit. That was a fun time. Wearing the National stuff and I'm not a Nationals fan, so you can call me a bandwagon or whatever. But most of the players now that I like are pretty much gone. So I'm liking them less and less, and staying with the Mets. So Mike, I want to say thank you for coming on. I've been talking to you about this for a while, and I really appreciate you coming on. This one means a lot to me. Tonight, and we got, let's see. Oh, there are people talking. Oh, Jeff, how you doing? I think you said hi earlier.
I was sorry for not responding to you. I was sharing it on my channel.
That's fine. I appreciate it.
But no, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you asking me. And thankfully, one of the World Series games aren't on tonight. Otherwise, I would have been like, move it up or tough.
Right. Yeah. And I mean,
perfect off day. I'm glad Major League Baseball was considered enough to schedule a travel day during your 100th episode. I appreciate that.
Me and Natsman were talking about that yesterday.
I was on the phone with the MLB front office, quite a bit last week. So
he's been doing. I gotta thank Natsman too. Natsman was my first guest that I ever had on his channel, and me and him just became brothers in cards and then brothers in life after that. And it's been great. Me and Mike have become, got friends in cards. We're friends in the real world now. IRL, as the kids like to call it. So, and all these people that come on my channel on a nightly basis on Sundays, I love it. I love it. I also want to, been trying to get better with this. So around the community, MFB hit 1,000 subs this week. Mr. Fisherbike, Jason, that's awesome. I couldn't think of a better person in this hobby that deserves 1,000 subs. So that's great. It's a huge milestone for our community.
Long time coming, long time overdue. Glad to see Jason finally get there because it's not. And I know he put a post on something like one of the Facebook groups. It's not about the subs. Like it's not. It doesn't matter. You get to a point where you could care less. Obviously, when you start, you want to build it up because you want to know that people are, following you a little bit and giving you some support. But like when you do get to 1,000, it does open up some things where you have an easier time going live and such. Like you can do it mobily, things like that. So it is a big deal for stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome.
I don't know if 500 subs is some type of thing, but now I can actually post stuff on my computer, not on my mobile devices for like, hey, I'll be doing whatever tonight where I can actually write.
The community posts or whatever. Yeah.
So those little milestones are huge for creators, man. It makes it just easier. So congrats, Jason's a great guy. I talk to him probably about once a week, if not more. Really good guy in this community. Also, I want to bring up if you don't Don's Field of Dreams has a great thing going on right now with in his channel. I'll post it up after my show in the comments or whatever on talking about cards, sentimental cards in your collection. I think that's a great idea. I will be posting one. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together and not be too sappy. Or most of mine is happy things. So, but how I'm going to do it, I'm not doing it to win anything. I'm doing it more because I think it's a great idea. I love the collecting aspect, and that just shows a part of why people collect the way they do. I think it's an awesome idea. So I really would hope people take advantage of that with Don Fields of Dreams. And also everybody should be watching Don anyway. He's a great guy. Another one.
Yeah, and I'm so overdue to have Don on my channel. I think we started discussing that like a year and a half ago.
Well, me and you talked about it, and yeah, Don, the Misfits calling Donnie live because he's on every channel live. So.
I've been really bad with getting videos out lately. A little distracted now too with the Phillies playoff run. Like wasn't counting on that,
And I mean,
because I'm always like busy working on 1,000 things, so I tend to like watch like the playoff games. I essentially refuse to do anything. I'm like, that's it. I'm being unproductive for 3 hours, so I'm like racing around doing stuff beforehand and then doing stuff after. So.
Right.
I'm not used to actually sitting there like watching television, watching a sporting event for 3 hours and not do anything.
Right.
I don't think I'm your typical person, not sitting around like taking breaks, but that's been part of something.
When I have the games on and doing something else, a lot of times, if it's even sorting cards.
Yeah, I just can't do it with the Phillies playoff games.
I tried doing it today with the Virginia game on there, and I got so bored with it, I fell asleep.
Wow.
I fell asleep at the laptop. Yeah. It would have been a great picture. My wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm good.
So anything else like in the world, in our community, like you've seen this week that you want to touch on, man?
Sports Card Anonymous put out a video. He had stepped away from doing content. He, with the fam, he had a baby. His wife had a baby. They had a baby and whatnot, and just work and stuff. And I think he got a little burnt with the some of the stuff going on in the hobby because I think he was a target of one certain channel for some reason, and but he made a. Yeah, and he made a little video, and I agreed a lot with it. It was really good.
And that's Sports Card Anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Younger guy. Been probably about a year. Been a year making content.
Why was he targeted by another channel? I mean, I don't want to bring up negative stuff, but was it called for it or
no?
Really?
It looked like it was
the channel because I don't want to get in it, but
Yeah, it just looks like it may have been affiliation with another channel.
Okay.
Supporting
this. I swear, we're grown men going to college or middle school. It feels like.
Well, that's some of the content he put in there about.
Right. I mean, but for all in all, I think I love this. Now, this right here, this is Andrew. I will be having something. Hopefully, Andrew, I got your package for your son got sent out. I have the tracking. Got sent yesterday. Hopefully, you get it by the middle of the week. Hopefully, it works out. If not, let me know, and I'll send some more stuff. But hopefully, you'll give it a thumbs up on that one. Me and him did a little trade this week. It was fun, and he told me that was his first trade his son has done, and I was happy to do it. It put a smile on my face. And when I do the review, show the cards, I'll have a great story, and he'll do it on his channel as well. And that's the channel name right there is Paige and Denebin. And his son does like a card of the day and how he got it. It's very. I don't want to use their word cute. He's a little man, and it's cool. So this guy right here got in touch with me. Brad, one of OGs. What's up?
Shout out to Brad for beating me in fantasy football last week. He edged me out by like 1.5 points or something.
I think he got me 2 weeks ago. I thought you beat me last week.
I think I might have been the week before that.
Oh, was it? Okay. Because I haven't won a game yet in that league. So
hey, you got something to shoot for now. I didn't check the 4 o'clocks, but I did pretty well in the 1 o'clocks today. So
I think I'm going to win today. Got the old Doc is in the house. You pick up anything this week, Nats? Anything?
I was in an auction. I'm bidding.
Okay.
And I'm getting pissed because I don't. It's a Juan Soto card that I've been, because I'm a PC Juan Soto. Yeah, it's eBay. And I know there's other platforms that you can purchase from and stuff. And outside of eBay, honestly, Mike's the only other one that I'll purchase from because I trust him.
Sorry, Ray.
But I trust Mike. So, on his auction stuff. And but like I've tried Facebook. It was not a good experience. I've done Instagram. It was okay. 1 or 2 transactions. But I stick with eBay, even with the eBay fees and stuff. If it's not eBay or Mike, I'm not really looking to do stuff. I'm not on any other platforms purchasing. Yeah. I just, with everything going on, I just don't trust the cards, what people are doing now, the condition that stuff is being sent.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that in a minute too.
Oh, okay, good.
So I do bids on PWCC. I probably put out 45 bids just to see if I could steal 2. That's just how, throw a net out and see if you catch a
Hey,
bid.
man, you got to be careful with that, though. You never know. Off night,
well, I keep
things.
looking. All the bids are low. I'm trying to steal.
I've done that too, but not so much PWCC. I'm on there on occasion sometimes. But I had a local auction, one of my LCSs that has auctions, and I usually put a ton of bids in, and they're somewhat low, but it can add up,
Right.
And
so is that auction does he keep a paper on everything, or
he does it? Well, it used to always be in person, and then with the pandemic, it went to he does it. Some people place bids on the paper, but most people just send an email with a list and he just goes through it. So he does it manually. But there was just one where it was a little lower and I knew it was lighter bidding, but I want he emailed me, he's like, yeah, or no, I called him and he's like, yeah, you won 40 auctions. I was like, what the hell?
Woo.
I was like, oh shit.
I got to do a Mike still.
Well,
all of a sudden,
Mike, I like what you do. You keep up with your people. You keep up with your regulars, and I'm not a regular. And what cards I'm looking at, which is cool. To go in somewhere.
Exactly who's going to be on there and what cards are going to
sell. It's
I sit there and I start laughing because I go, he thinks I'm going to bid on this one. This is the one.
He lays it out there, boy. He lays.
I have a mix of stuff. I'll have great stuff that it's just what people aren't collecting. So I mean,
Mike Schmidt,
you just pop that stuff on eBay.
He knows if it's Soto Robos or
the Mike Schmidt. I like the comment you put. I got
you got one, and Mr. Wesker Griff tried to get him to buy one at the National, but he was like, "Nah, man, I got to save my money for Juan Soto." I'm like, "All right," and then you're gonna get upset when people are wondering who you're a bigger fan of, Juan Soto or the Phillies.
Right.
And you got to be careful. I got to be careful when he's in your auction and I'm in there because he will. Boy, I don't know. He's got quick fingers.
He's downstairs. He's got the live feed.
That's it.
Sorry, I'm a little dry tonight. Been fighting a little dryness. Oh, we got Nate in the house.
What up, Nate?
He's been posting some really. I don't know if he every time he posts something in that was it the community or super collectors or whatever Facebook page. But man, he's been putting up some nice bonds in the last few weeks.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm definitely overdue to do a video with Nate. So I'm going to have to find a way to make that happen.
You got a lot of video making.
I'm overdue for a lot. I have fallen into that rut of trying to find time to do stuff. So I do the mail. Well, my last mail day was like 3 weeks between them, but it's like the grading submissions when they roll in, the occasional mail days, and then occasional box breaks. But I do want to do more. Like before the World Series started, I wanted to do just I wanted to pull out a random box of Phillies and just like roll through it and talk about it. Not like I don't care how many people watch. I know some of the collectors out there will enjoy it, the stories and such. It's just fun. Sometimes you just make videos because you want to make them, not sitting there going, what will give me 5,000 views? Oh, let me give some shitty advice about something that's going to be irrelevant in 3 days. Sometimes that'll help you if you're looking at the numbers. But if you're just looking at, enjoying yourself and enjoying the hobby, that's not what it's all about.
Scott, I don't want to jump the line or anything, but
no, go right ahead.
Does Mike, have you bought any new product that you're planning on breaking on your channel?
Well, I did a box of Topps update. What was it? Friday? What's today? Sunday?
No,
I think
Sunday.
It was Friday. I think it came.
You
came yesterday.
Saturday because
Yeah. It came. It was released on Friday, but Dave and Adams, they usually ship it a day early, and they printed a label, and I don't think it got picked up in time, so it came Saturday. So I broke a box of that on camera, and then I broke a couple other boxes, and then
boy, Topps lost that bet on.
And then I talked to my dad today, and he informed me he opened. I think he opened a case. So I'm gonna have a lot of Topps update.
All right.
So did Topps lose that bet on who they chose as the cover boys on that one, on that product?
I guess they were betting on the Mets having a deep run. It's just kind of I mean, it's like I get Scherzer because he's in the Mets uniform. It's an update. Pete Alonso's kind of like.
I think he has like a top. I think Pete's got like a top.
I think he is one of their like top guys. It's just weird because I feel like they would have put a rookie. You know what I mean?
You would have made
like Alonso had a great year, but you would have thought they would have gone with like either Witt or Julio Rodriguez or even Wander Franco, something like that. But that product, I mean, I think I did pretty well, got some, decent stuff. And from what I've seen, I haven't watched a lot of breaks, but I feel like the buzz I've seen on either Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that is people are pretty pleased with how they're doing in terms of getting some decent hits.
Right.
And I'm sure it also feels that way because I'm sure the production on Update is substantially lower than, say, Series 1. Series 1, when it came out, I mean, those print runs were astronomical. Well, yeah, Update's always a shorter run than Series 1 anyway, but I feel like it's probably like a normal Update run where Series 1 was probably like 2 or 3 times, its typical Series 1 run. So
was it Hobby Box that you got, or
I did some
blasters?
jumbo boxes.
Jumbo?
I did jumbos, yeah. So
Topps Cosmic released this Friday. Beautiful mock photos.
They do look nice. I don't know.
I have not seen that.
Topps Cosmic Chrome. They look cool. I haven't looked at prices. I'm assuming they probably have come down. Most products are down a little bit compared to, what they were. Some reality setting in for the distributors and such. But there's a lot of releases left. Considering baseball season's going to be done within a week. Right. There's at most 5 more games left in the season, and I mean, there's like a couple dozen products. Like Stadium Club usually would be out, hasn't been out. They're probably going to do Stadium Club Chrome. They're going to do Topps Chrome update. They're going to do God knows how many more. Topps Finest hasn't come out yet. That used to come out in like June or July.
Yeah, I was looking forward to Topps.
I mean,
but it's
obviously
been pricey.
Bowman's best.
Topps Finest. I hope the price isn't too crazy.
The pre-sales were insane a couple months ago. I would think it'll probably come down a little bit, but I would have to look it up, but there's a lot of products still coming out. So the good news is I would think going forward, most of them should have most of the rookies. And it's definitely nice to have a product that has like Topps Update. You have a Julio, you have a Bobby Witt, you have Quan, you have Bryson Stott, who he's not putting up crazy numbers, but for baseball guys who have watched the Phillies in the playoffs, I've heard a lot of people say they're impressed with him. Like, he's having good at-bats. He's not having one of those 3-pitch rookie at-bats. He's having 7, 8, 9-pitch at-bats, which is helping the team in general. Jeremy Pena's got cards and updates. So I would think we'll have these guys in other products, which definitely brings some energy and kind of fun to the products as well.
That Cosmic Chrome for a hobby is going not off at eBay, but from like Steel City Midwest and DA Card World. They're all $249.95 a hobby box. Looks like eBay, they're trying to price it up like anywhere $5 to $10. And those pictures look wicked. Cards look wicked.
We're almost at the halfway point. So
halfway? We didn't even get started yet.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I know how we are. But I wanted to announce somebody to the stream that we have, since this is my 100th. This is my only special guest. Nobody.
Happy 100.
Yeah, well, thank you. Nats man doesn't even know I'm having this guy on. We're going to have Jeff Wilson. We're going to add him in here. Oh, no.
Oh.
What up, Jeff?
So this was sent to me this week by Sean. Great. We hung out a while at the house and at the National. Great guy. I had to share this. Meme James. He does a lot of these stuff. So I saw this. Had to show it, share it tonight with everybody, because everybody's talking about influencers the last couple of weeks. Thought it was funny. Hope everybody gets a little bit of a laugh out of it.
That's pretty good.
I just, you can put anybody's name, but everybody knows that name. So,
man.
So like I know my name. So, got come with Egg. He's on here. Who else is on it? So. Yeah, Florida Gator memorabilia. So I thought that'd be kind of funny. So hope everybody got a little chuckle. It'd been better if I really had Jeff Wilson.
Hello, Big Scott.
Yeah.
Congrats on your 100.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Wow. So I've gotten Mike twice tonight. This has been great. And that's man. Almost threw me off. While talking about that, I saw something this week on the internet from somebody that's been on my channel. I respect him. This is no diss on anybody. Haven't got to see the whole thing. They just had it released yesterday. I've been doing a lot of work in my apartment this weekend and everything. So been a busy boy. Also been watching sports and whatnot. But
you been on Whatnot?
Yeah, no. I was on Whatnot for 5 seconds because somebody I thought was cool was selling on there until I didn't like.
Were they wearing halter tops?
The way it worked. Huh?
Were they wearing halter tops?
Yeah. I don't. Whatnot is a young man's game. But anyway, this was Omar Retro Hoops. Him and JD had a person, a guest on, and named Mark from Mark Card Care. And I think these newer people have a different definition on what is manipulating cards, like fixing them to what I think old school guys like me have. And So
There's a difference between the Mona Lisa and a cardboard.
Well, he was talking, and the first thing what he brought out was a little pen, and he said, "This is, I do the same thing in a wrinkle or a defect in the card. I rub it out gently with this pen."
That's what.
And as soon as he said that, I said, "Well, that's altering the card." That's in my mind. Now, I don't know how other people feel about that, and I can't say that you're wrong or right. But that's how I feel, right?
I use chemical guys auto wax on my cards, on my Chrome cards.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I'm just kidding, y'all. Seriously, that's a joke. That's just a joke.
Well, the more I thought about it, it's like, taking a pantyhose and rubbing out the gum stain, is that not the same thing? Or I don't know. That where is the line drawn on that? And it was just food for thought. I have not finished listening to the conversation, and I can't say where they all stand on it. And I hope, and it sounds like this guy does a lot of cards and have told a lot of people what he does and his product sells. Like, he's made his own concoctions. He's got his own tools that he sends out, kits.
I don't know about y'all, but I agree. Like what Battery just put on there with the nylon. If you got those old cards, you're trying to get gum residue off on it. I don't think you're not altering the card. You're not. All you're doing is getting rid of that residue from that product, which they stopped because they knew it was ruining the cards for the hobbyists. So, as far as that's concerned, I don't think that's altering the card. But when you're that one instrument he's got with the corners, it's
if you're like changing the texture of the card or that kind of stuff, I think that's
because you're just with that painting
a little
you're
more
getting
severe
down to
than
the card.
You're technically altering the state of the card, but if you're kind of pulling off some residue that's on the card, you're not changing the card itself. You're taking something that's on it, but I mean,
this guy will take.
I don't know. Like, there's so many. Like, technically, if you're altering the card, if you're putting it in the penny sleeve and you chip the corner, like that's technically altering the card too. You're just not repairing it. You're damaging it. Like kids back in the day putting in the bicycle spokes were altering their cards. Like I think it's all kind of depending on what you're doing too. I mean, I don't know.
Right, and I mean that's.
A lot of people obviously are doing this. Like I don't know this guy, but a lot of people are doing it for the purpose of increasing the value. They're doing it to try and get a better grade, to improve the value, and essentially to deceive like others that they did it. Like, if that makes sense, like profitable. I think that
there's
I personally don't like care like the gum stains and the wax. Like, if I want a card graded, like I'd prefer it to be a little more clean. If it's something for a binder, like I don't care. Sometimes I'm like, it's the way it came out of the pack.
Agreed.
Some people make like full sets of gum stain back cards and stuff. So sometimes it helps you out if you got a gum stain there.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I've seen somebody.
Yeah.
They did a Tops. It was either Archives or I think it was Heritage a number of years ago. I think they
just got one.
They did fake. They had gum stained parallels. Like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to go all out, because we're going to touch on something on Archives. Archives is the one like that. Like Paige Andrew, I think he had a question on. I guess they had a super short print or just a short print of Jeter with the Marlboro sign in the back. I don't find anything wrong with that, because that was, geesh. I mean, if you're worried about a kid seeing it now, there's thousands of cards that they're going to find in somebody's collection with worse than that in the background. I mean, it's not like they put the F face on the bottom of the bat or something. James puts wiping your fingerprints off. I'm sure we've all bought cards.
I mean, I wiped the fingerprints off a card too because it looks like hell. Like the fingerprints aren't supposed to be there. But I've also sent cards. I had, I think it was a Ken Griffey Jr. Like it was a modern card a few years ago. It was one of those. I think it was like a silver pack. Mojo Refractor. PSA graded it. Put a thumbprint on it, like whoever was probably holding it or grading it, put their thumbprint on it and encapsulate it. And I'm like, I wish I could wipe this off because it looks terrible. Like, I don't have a problem with wiping.
At least it wasn't the fingernail, the magic fingernail that always shows up.
Yeah, where they put their imprints so someone can see it. 20 years from now.
And by the way, I think I know why this got a 4.
Why is that? I didn't look at it close enough.
I think it's cockeyed. Like, you know how the Allen Ginter is almost framed in the white. I think it's inside it.
Diamond cut.
Diamond. Yeah, I don't think it's diamond cut per se. Like, I just think the picture inside of it's diamonded, right? So that's the only thing I took.
Hey, pop that sucker on eBay. $499.99. Pop one, baby. I'm guessing there's no CSG4s out there.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was sitting there, I had my jeweler's eye out and everything. There's not a wrinkle, a blemish, a corner. I don't know. What's up, Blue Rock? Hope everything's doing well down there. LOL Turtle Wax. See, this guy was bringing up like all that stuff has like rough, like granules in it and stuff. So he made his own. He grew up making his own cleanings and stuff, solutions, working at detailing cars at his parents' or family's place. And I mean, it all sounds. It's kind of like the bot thing. It always sounds like if you put it in the right perspective that it's no harm, no foul. But, when you're trying to get over on somebody and you don't sit there and go, oh, I fixed this card, then, it's the old thing. Oh, it's okay for the two young people to be hanging back in the room. Why don't you call the young girl's parents to let her know that, the two people are. If you can't tell the other person what's happening, then it's something wrong with it. So,
the biggest thing is that you do this. And let's say you're using a product on a chrome card, for an example, and it's filling in that wax. It's filling in the scratches, right? Mm-hmm. That's what a wax does on a car or on a card. You submit that, you get a good grade on. You get a pretty good grade on. Say you get a 9 on it. You sell it. The person that buys it doesn't know that that's been done, and they crack it. And they said, I think you can get a 10. I'm going to crack it and I'm going to submit it. Well, on that next go around, PSA catches the residue on it, refuses to grade it, takes your money and sends it back to you in a penny sleeve. Who just got screwed on that deal?
Altered. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, that, doctor, does that guy think retracing an auto to fix a faded autograph is okay? Where does he draw the line? And that's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, I feel like, where is the line? Where's the morality? Where's the ethics, the self-patrol, the ethical part in it? Because if you sit it in, it gets graded, it's in plastic. 99.9%, it's in the plastic. And nobody's going to mess with it, touch it ever again. It's in the plastic. It is what it is at that time. But you did that, right? And he was talking about doing this to get the grades to sell it. It isn't like I'm just putting it in my PC. I've heard that, I paid a lot for these cards, so they should be mint condition when I get these high-end cards. Well, Topps and Panini, they don't feel like that. You're paying for the card. You're paying for the autos, and you're paying for the material.
Half the time, the autographs are damaged by the athletes because they could care less. Sometimes there was a video one time of, I think it was Guerrero Jr. signing all this stuff and just like throwing them in the box. Like, what the hell do they care?
Well, that's
He's
why
getting a paycheck. You don't collect them.
Right. The thick cards, they'll have indentions and everything else where they're pressing the pin down. And, that's where a lot of that problem comes with.
There's a guy.
I don't want to harp on it. We talked a little bit about it last week because I don't want to feel like I'm pointing fingers, but is this yeah? Because they were making good points, and I think it's just I kind of felt like the old man get off my lawn listening to a newer person, because he's been collecting all his life, but of course he left for 10 years and came back before the pandemic, of course, but he came back. So yeah, I don't know if he sends colored pencils in his kits. I don't know. It's like once you feel like you've done this part, where do you think?
Pair of scissors, razor blade, God knows what's going.
Yeah, you're wetting.
What a crime, though! Can you imagine having like a pre-war card or an early '50s vintage card and snipping pieces off of it? Like, horrible.
I feel hard. Like that's history you're messing with.
Yeah.
You know that it's at that point. That's the way I look at it. But I'm a collector. Once I buy something, very rarely do I look to see how much it is ever again. Unless I got dupes and now I'm ready to sell the one or whatever. But
I like what Big 33. He's got a video out he put out this week, and he is a huge Juan Soto piece here, and he's got on the thicker cards like Flawless, how PSA, even SGC, I think, unless y'all just got better experience, grade those thicker cards. It's like you almost automatically lose a grade when you send it into them, almost. But he is
cool,
switching. Carl. He's switching over just to do authentic. The PSA, that's his choice vendor, but he's not getting graded. He's just saying, "Hey, authenticate this thing." You think that's an option when you've got a card instead of going another route? About rolling something out or worrying about a nail print or anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get it just authenticated, that's always a route. I mean, like Jeff here, PSA damaged one of my cards, encapsulated and cryptic. Can that be rolled out? Sure, it can be, but at that point, it's not no difference than you messing up a corner or whatever.
Mike, you got any advice on how he might want to handle that? But since you do PSA,
I would contact PSA and tell them pay me.
Usually, if PSA damages, if they admit it, they should compensate you. This is a while ago, but I know at one point I did a order for someone. It was a vintage card, and they called and they said, "Oh, this was graded a 6. Something was damaged. It's going to be a 4," and they compensated the price difference. With a credit on the order. Granted, the order, was probably a couple $1,000 order, so they probably gave like $50 off or $7, whatever the price difference was.
Right.
But PSA does do that. I mean, I know some guys who do a lot of grading, some big guys in the community where PSA has purchase cards from him at substantial prices because they damaged someone else's card, and they've offered, people who had some. So they do, if they admit to making a mistake, they will compensate that. At least they're supposed to, and at least they always have. Now, of course, a lot of things have changed with PSA in the last year or so, but.
Well, there's Jeff's response. Wow. Jeff, what kind of card was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's 600. Not for me. That's pretty good.
That's good a lot card. Of money for me. Choose authenticate. Man.
Yeah, Maury, I tell you what, 9.5 and the thick cards, it doesn't matter who you grade it. I almost feel like PSA with a thick card starts at a 9 before they even start grading it. So
yeah, I've not had any.
The thick cards, especially if they're relic cards of some sort, you have the thick card. They're so prone to chipping and such, and then if they have the cuts and stuff or the relics and all that, there's just so many things that can easily go wrong.
That relic box, you got more sides and corners in there. That people fail to look at that, and a lot of times, that's where your damage is, or the corners are a little pressed down.
I don't know. That's why sometimes it's fun to just buy a card from 1910 and go, you know what? This thing's 100 years old. It's supposed to be beat up. A 1 or 2 is cool. then you don't have to worry about all this shit. Like,
Right. Well, you know what? I don't. I say it all the time. I buy the card. I don't care if it's a new card. You cry, I buy, baby. I love. That's one of my favorite sayings that Eric's come up with. I showed my Alonzos yesterday. I have some 8.5s, but you know what? I got those. They were short numbered cards, and if you want to get it graded and get an 8.5, I'll be more than happy to buy it lesser than what a raw copy is. Because I mean that's just how it goes.
yeah, and it depends card to card because some of them sometimes you get 8s or 9s, and like you look at it and it's like, dude, this card looks fine. It could be the littlest thing. Now, like severely off center bothers me specifically for new stuff, but even older stuff I prefer. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered, but I don't want a card that's like 80-20 that's super distracting.
Right. Well, most time on
and then like obviously like on a new card, if you have, I don't know, one of these cards, it's like a bright color border or even a black border. If it's severely chipped or has a super bad corner, like that can be really distracting, taking away the eye appeal. But in most cases, it's like, I don't know, a 9 and 10. The difference isn't that much. It's save that money sometimes and just grab the 9.
On those thick cards.
Can be even anything.
Yeah.
A lot of thick stuff. I don't know. I don't grade a ton of thick stuff. I will from time to time, but
yeah, it's got to have a special reasoning why I'm getting it graded. Either I want to sell it, and if I can get a better grade, get a good grade on it, a better price, or something I want to special. Because a lot of times, like I don't understand grading a lot of autograph cards and stuff like that. For me, I'm buying an autograph. I can care less a lot of times what the card is. This is all new to me with the autograph card, and this is a 101, and I'm like, well, I got the same autograph on this other card. It's the same guy. So this is in the last 9 years, trying to grasp that, because for the longest time, what it was on for an autograph, it didn't matter. The autograph was the cost of the person that autographed it, right? It was like, if X person autograph it, that's the price. And if you put it on the helmet, that's your helmet just dropped down to that price. It was the price of whoever autographed it. So this is all with, the boom of autograph stuff and cards. Of course, it had to fix itself. Dr. Exclusive, what do you guys think of trimming a vintage card that already had a hand cut designation if the original person that hand cut the card did a horrible job?
That's y'all. That's outside my wheelhouse.
I have looked at those before and thought the same thing. I really, with those, I don't have a problem, but they're a lot harder on size grading those than you think. So you better have the right size at the end of the day, because it is a hand cut card.
I feel like some of that stuff, well, I don't know what they're currently doing, but at one point I thought they stopped even giving numerical grades on some of those post serial. I thought they were just authenticating them, but I haven't kept up on it. I feel like PSA, some of these places just start changing their mind from time to time about what they want to do.
Yeah, it feels like they change it, whatever.
They're not doing star rookie Jordans, and then they need some more orders, so they announce they are going to grade them again, so then they get a bunch in. Well,
here's my problem with the star Jordans, right? If you're going to do that, shouldn't you do that across the board with all-star cards? Like, why do you do everybody else but star Jordans? Because I have a stack of Carters that are part of the registry that I'm, going to send in to get graded. So, it's kind of like, why? I know why, because that card is so heavily, counterfeited. But they don't do that with the Gretzky Topps card, and that's heavily, so is the Fleer card, the Jordan Fleer, so counterfeited.
Sometimes it's amazing how bad counterfeit cards look.
Right.
I was at a flea market this morning and I saw a guy had a box. I was rolling through it and he had a super counterfeited Ken Griffey Jr. 89 upper deck. He's like, yeah, man, $20. It goes for way more than that. I was like, yeah. Good luck, buddy. Well, this thing's fake as can be. It's not even close.
When they were showing those two in Dallas, and I could see it on the camera. I was like, well, they look fake as hell. So, from 6 months ago or whenever one of the 800 Dallas shows were. So that's I was going to get with this with you, and I know I played it last Saturday. I've been talking about this probably going on a year now. Have we got to the tipping point on how many shows and the size of shows that we can support?
I mean, the Philly show is still, that's the largest one in my area, 3 times a year. A lot of people have talked, they should go to 4 because a lot of places have it 4 times a year. I would love for it to be 4 times a year, but I think 3 works. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Feel like for me, there's not that many local shows. There's a few mall shows. There's a couple guys who run the mall shows. The one's really good, but they only do it. They're coming up. They did one in October, but of course everyone missed it because the Phillies had a big playoff weekend that weekend. Mm-hmm. But they have another one coming up in November and December. But the other shows, just not good. But I don't think there's crazy amount of shows here locally. I actually feel like we could use a few more. In terms of big shows, though, it seems like these Dallas shows, they expand it and had so many. You have the National. I feel like the oversized shows in random areas, the travel shows, have probably gone a little overboard because, it's not cheap to travel. They're talking about
established ones look like they're going to be okay.
But whatever show is going on in Las Vegas. I'm like, how many people are going to fly into Las Vegas to this car show? I get the National. The National is worth traveling to. You can make a case that you spend that money to travel that because it's a yearly thing. It's literally the biggest show there is. You have all the companies there. You have a bunch of corporate stuff going on. And, of course, for a lot of us who go, besides the cards, it's about, hanging out. And to me,
if you love the hobby, it is the history of the hobbies there, right?
Yeah, there's so much. But these other shows, how can you go to Dallas? And, get going there maybe once a year, but how can you these travel shows? You can't travel to shows constantly.
I was planning on going to Philly. Right? It's the first weekend in December, but I canceled because
you got sick and tired of my stuff. I'm sorry for upsetting you.
Yeah, no, the economy sucks, right? So I just took
it. Does?
Money. Yeah, we're getting that in a minute too. So I was going to take the money that I was going to spend for just the show, and I used it at Chantilly. So, but I would have had to drive up, get a hotel, blah blah blah. It wouldn't have broke me or nothing. But it's the holiday season. Nothing's getting cheaper. So
you don't know with weather. Most likely that time of the year, it's usually okay around here. But you never know if you have everything planned out. Suddenly a snowstorm rolls through, and then you're dealing with high cost gas and all that stuff.
James, I think the show's the first weekend in December. The first full weekend in December. When I was planning for it. Because my next year, I want to go to the Expo in Toronto, and I want to go to of course, I'm going to the National.
Plus, you got to go see some historical baseball stuff. Perhaps
I'm going there. That is happening too. But that's I'll have
announcement now. Live video coming at some point in 2023. Big Scott MikeO will be doing a live video from an undisclosed location in the northeastern part of the United States, where baseball is king.
And the streets are still local.
But I would like to go to a Dallas show just to see what all the hubbub's about. and it is different. I mean, the Philly show and Chantilly show are run by the same guy.
I have a feeling I haven't been to the Chantilly show, but I feel like they probably have a very similar feel.
I talked to a lot of dealers. A lot of dealers are from that area. They do the Philly show. They do the one in New York that just happened. What is it? The one that Eric was live showing footage at, and so I guarantee you, the cards I took pictures of, that guy is going to be up there at that show because he's from that area up there, So I asked him if he knew you, and he said, "Nope."
East Coast Sports Marketing.
Gosh, I try to remember the name. And have you got that package yet I sent you? You have gone to your P.O. box? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I haven't. I didn't open it yet.
Oh, okay. What?
The Philly show's December 2nd through the 4th.
Yeah. Thank you.
Which is good.
Sitting in that corner over there.
Okay. Your stuff's in there.
I mean, I can go rip it open right now.
No, you're good. It's the card. It's all it is.
I know. It's a cool card.
It is. And it took me a minute. I was like, that's not even the Philly.
It's a card that a lot of people would think it would be 50 cents, but it's a cool card regardless.
Well, that's the short print of that year, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw a couple of different ones there. And I knew you
the opening day short prints are incredibly tough to get because most people don't. First of all, like they're hard to get. Like the odds are outrageous. They're probably like one per case, and like most people who open opening day are actually collectors. They're not people breaking it to resell, and they're probably not. Like they're not studying it. So I guarantee you will find, if you look through a bunch of people's random boxes, like you might find short prints that are really tough, but like that's the problem. And the print run's lower too. So those things you just don't see come up.
And
often.
It's just trying to swallow that you're going to pay that much for an opening day card is kind of, because I did one, I got the Pete Alonso walk on or walk off or whatever they're called. They're extremely short printed.
Yeah, there's they've done McCutcheon and Harper the last 2 years, and I need a couple of them. I have to look up and see which ones, but
so I got that one. I think I paid $50 for it. And just knowing you're paying that for an opening day is kind of,
it's tough, but then that's when you have to go, all right, I could buy a hobby box opening day for like $35-$40.
Right.
And I'd have to open like 100 of those boxes to maybe hit this card. It's like, all right, you know what, I'll
just buy the card.
And that's kind of
too easy.
So, and the thing is, and you see them so infrequently that if you pass on it, like it legitimately could be like 5 years before you get another shot. And not necessarily the walk your way ones, probably not as long, but the other short prints, like.
Well,
I need short prints from like 2013. I think is it 2012 or 13? Like there's a John Kruk image variation from Topps. I haven't seen one in 5 years.
I thought I had that one, and I was looking through my stuff, and I do not have that. Now I have a Mike Schmidt image variation of a.
Yeah, he's got a few. I have all his, but.
What about the Kaboom card for baseball? You think that's as short printed as some think it is?
I don't open enough of that stuff to really know. I've never pulled one. Even those home field advantage, is that what they're called, out of Topps? I've never pulled any. My dad, I think in Series 2, he had opened a few boxes, and he got a couple. But I never
went out of my way
anything.
to find those because they're supposed to be so hard to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got one from Bobbles, paid for it, no problems. But I have pulled two since then from blaster boxes.
I've never pulled one out of Jumbo, Hobby, or Blasters.
And I pulled another, I think Matt Olson for the A's had one. Scott, you are going to the annual large eastern half of the United States, never on the West Coast ever again. Show in Chicago in late July.
Cryptic.
I'm trying to understand what you're asking me there, Jeff. I am going to the National in late July. I kind of want to go to the Burbank show out in the West Coast. I have to actually have friends out. I used to live in the West Coast for a while. I have friends in California in that area to go see. One of them's had a kid since I left. Yep, the National. That's the one I'm going to, is Chicago, and they have now. Chicago also has 3 other shows there. They're all the what is it? The Chicago
Trade. No,
It's
Chicago
extravagance, memorabilia,
Sports car,
something.
Yeah, they just had it
whatever.
not long ago.
It's upstairs. It's a little smaller.
The question is, when you go to Chicago this year, you go to get pizza. Are you going to be haggled for sports cards, or is that time past?
You know what? I think the National is always going to be pretty big, but you know, right now the card market is kind of weird. Do you think like as many of the well, I'm trying to get my thoughts here. I just read something that
Beans and Franks.
yeah. Do you think as many people has dropped out of collecting as other people think have right now? When I say collecting, I'm using that word very loosely. As you know, the flippers,
I think content creators that were trying to make a dime.
I don't watch them, so if they're not on, I don't know. So I've been hearing there's less content coming out from them, or if it is,
God, yeah,
drastically different, going from complaining about the actual people that collect to anything about the hobby. Hey, Victor, what's going on? Chicago Sports Spectacular. Yeah, Victor goes to it. Thank you, sir. So do you think that is a real thing? Like, do you think a lot of people, because on PWCC, I think somebody just put up the whole John Stockton because it was John Stockton's all through the basketball.
There's people dumping. I mean, there's people dumping stuff. I mean, it's a buyer's market right now.
So you say that, and I'm like, and I'm hearing like,
there's some Juan Soto stuff out there, guys. I'm telling you that I did not think would be on eBay, and the only problem I have with it is an auction, because they know they're gonna make their money in auction right now. Typically, you know. And there's cards out there that I've been like, oh my God, this is somebody is actually getting rid of this.
Are you gonna just collect Soto National stuff, or are you diving into Padres stuff? Because he does have an image variation and update in the Padres uniform.
I do want a Padres, yes, I do.
That's like one of the few like actually updated cards in Topps Update.
Well, I got
I do.
I got the Topps now, so I got the traded one where he's in the National uniform. It says traded, but also got him where he debuted with the Padres, so I could get him in a Padres uniform this year. But I didn't know they were going to have anything, so that's nice to know.
As a PCer for him, yes, yeah. I'll still collect. Even
he's a great player
going forward. Yeah,
I don't watch the Angels, but I collect Mike Trout. I mean, you know,
that's another one. People, I mean, his there's stuff out there. Some Mike Trout I've seen. I couldn't believe people are getting rid of that are good price.
Well, we've talked about that before. A lot of people, since he's been getting hurt, have jumped off his little hype train, which is fine with me. It's not national if it's never in the West. Well, it has been out there before, Jeff.
It's just been like 20 years.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s, but it was out there.
Wasn't it LA? Was it LA?
It's the attendance record. It hasn't been broken, but for some reason it can't go back out there. like, what?
To answer your question, I mean, certainly I'm sure the hype isn't there, so I would imagine there's less people putting videos out. We are coming up, too, on I feel like a really busy time of the year with the holidays coming up and travel, and people just get other things going on. And I think that there's again, less hype, less value right now, less easy money. Of course, a percentage of people are going to drop out, but I still feel like the collecting base is still bigger today than it was 2-3 years ago. But I do think, like people have mentioned, some people have gotten smarter with their money. And then there's just so much stuff out there, and there's only so much to choose from. And I'm sure a lot of people are getting more conservative with their money because of an uncertain financial future. Whether it's short term, long term, whatever it is, I mean, you got to be smart with things. So it just depends what it is. Like, you can only, unless you have that unlimited bankroll, you can only collect so much at one given time. Like for me, I'll shift to different stuff. I'm always going to buy some of the new stuff, but like I try and kind of focus right now lately, and not a ton lately. I haven't been buying a crazy amount, but like the pre-war stuff, like I just started moving in that direction. I'm like, listen, if I'm going to spend bigger money, like I want to grab some of that. That's the stuff exciting me at the current time. But I'm cool with buying some just super cheap Philly stuff, like 90s stuff, like $5-10 cards. Like that's fun. Having fun with it. And some people might be doing that as well, and they're just not buying into every single rookie. Maybe you pick one rookie, and I'm sure some people are. If you're a Pirates guy, you're excited by O'Neal Cruz. If you're like the Royals, maybe you're chasing Bobby Witt. I'm sure a lot of people are going after, say, a Julio Rodriguez, but they're not necessarily going, oh, I have to get all 10 rookies, stuff like that. So I'm sure it's all playing a role to some degree.
Right.
It's a good point about being more particular with what you're getting.
Because when I was at Chantilly, it was a lot of people there. I was shocked by
I do feel like a lot of people are into the shows too. A lot of people are enjoying doing that as opposed to
and
the online thing.
Right. And the first day a lot of people were in the the boxes. I'm gonna look through. But man, on Saturday it wasn't so much that way. It was I saw transactions. Did see a little bit more Pelican case stuff going on where people were trying to trade their stuff or sell it. Some dealers were buying or trading. So it was stuff going on. So, I was shocked at how much transactions were going on there. And that I thought that was great. I was just trying to get Yuri. I know you'll be going to the shows, around your area and letting us know. So Jeff told us it was 30 years, 1991.
Man, I can't believe 1991 was 30 years ago.
Yeah. So every time the market goes down, whatever it is, the people with the money win more. But we'll see what happens. I keep hearing it's a buyer's market. And I see a lot of cards coming down, but the big cards are staying big cards, right? They might drop a certain percentage, but they're still, I don't know. I just think some stuff is still at a ridiculous price. What I do like, though, is I don't like the fact that the card companies had to go up on their prices at the retail to get the flippers to back off a little bit. But at least it's there if people want to get it. And I've been buying it. I mean, I can understand $5 going up, but some of the other stuff's gone up like $10, $15. That's a little crazy to me.
That's interesting with what Amari just posted.
What's up, John? What do you see? I have the 2019 Topps Now Soto Wild Card, LDS, LCS, and World Series Relic Auto. Sent them to SGC, but they were too thick to slab. I wonder how long ago that was, because they'll do some thickness. Now, how thick they are, I don't know how.
I didn't realize they were that thick.
357 asked, Natsman sold his PC?
No, I did do a major sell off, but my core PC I still have. Yeah, I had it. It was as all of us that are baseball guys, it is such a long term, and I'm one of those guys that if I see a good deal, I'm jumping on it, and I may not need that card. I've already got one, and then I end up with 10 of them. And
it's like when you see a Pedro Martinez Dynasty autograph. I know someone who bids on every single one that ever gets posted. They just
Were you
happen
trying
to
to get
few.
every one of those? I got one of these
No,
already.
I literally,
Like,
there's like a price in mind. I will literally bid on every single one, and I've won a few, and some I've been outbid on and lost. But
why Pedro Martinez? Wasn't he like 1 year with the Phillies?
like 3 months.
I was using
I don't
1
know.
year
It was
loosely,
cool.
but I didn't know it was just 3 months.
I think he was signed in August. He was there August, September, and then pitched for him in the postseason in October. He only has a handful of Phillies cards. And then in terms of autographs, he was in Dynasty that year. I think the following year they might have done like a short run. I think he is a 1 of 1 in like Transcendent or something.
Okay.
Like he doesn't have many. So
Yeah, I mean, if I like the card, I will buy it several times, especially if it looks good in a page.
I mean, I also feel like at the Philly show at some point that could be if I choose to. I'm not in any rush, but I could always, use it as trade bait to get something else Phillies related for the collection because it's one of those that most people don't have. That there's certain guys like, hey, Rhys Hoskins been playing pretty well overall in the playoffs. Aaron, like these guys. And even Mike Schmidt, some of the Steve Carlton, these guys have signed like a billion things. Like they're not that tough to find. Obviously, there's certain cards that get lost in the shuffle over time that can be tough, but like they have a lot of autographs. A guy like Pedro is a Hall of Famer. He's not obviously well remembered as a Philly, but he was part of a pennant-winning team, and there's just not a lot of supply to go around. So it's one of those things. Like I don't know. I'm not buying him for the value, but I don't know. I feel like boys, they have something.
I tell you, boys, I know me and Scott had Scott knows one I made. I shared with him one I made. And I've never been in that position when you're face to face and you've got pretty much your entire collection laid out and the question comes out, what do you want? And you just like, it wasn't how much this is what I can give. It was kind of like, if you can afford a Rolls Royce, you don't say how much, you just go buy it. And that's what I was just, everything's got a price, but the vast majority of the stuff was, double, triple, quadruple, Lou Bob cards.
You did go crazy with the Lou Bobs there for a while.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lou Bobs, and but yeah, I think the seller's remorse, if I had any, would have been the Billy Ripken F card. Honestly, I think that's the only card I regret getting rid of.
It took me an eternity to get one. Got that sucker slabbed up, SGC8. Happy to have it in the PC.
I don't have one, and I need one because you got to have.
I wanted it from like the time I was like 10, and like I just never got one. And then I think I got one at the Philly
I wanted
show,
one in '89. I couldn't. I mean, I opened boxes upon boxes. I got so many '89.
I didn't get rid of the Bo Jackson card that slabbed. I did not get rid of that one.
You got to draw your line in the dirt.
You had to draw my line somewhere, but yeah.
So one last thing I want to talk about. This came up with some people has asked me, messaged me this week that are looking to do PSA. I know you sent stuff in with the same person. We sent stuff in for the $19 national thing, right? Did you send stuff in for that, right? With JT?
Talking to me?
Talking to you, Mike.
I don't know. I sent him. a few things for something. I don't remember if it might have been the national. I honestly forget if it was the national right before it or right after it. But
Yeah,
I
it was
did
right
send him a
before.
few cards.
Yeah, it was right before, but it was the national
Yeah,
special.
I think it was. Yeah, you're right because that was one of their first specials.
Right. And we have not. I don't even think it's got into like out of phase 3 or whatever. According to Jay, I think he dropped that because he's kind of slowing down if he's gonna. But some other people have got theirs. It's just
Yeah, I think Ray from Philly was telling me. I don't know if he put up a video yet, but I think he was saying he got his from the national. He either just got him back or they popped or whatever.
right.
They're inconsistent as can be. I mean, my backlog, I had a backlog with them for like years and it finally is cleared. Like I have one order that I personally have out with them. It's a PSA DNA order that they called me about and that something was missing. I don't know what the hell was going on. And I talked to them on the phone, a representative who had called me, and we did some stuff and it was supposed to pop in and get moving and like it still hasn't. So
Right. Because I mean,
I don't know. I don't. It's one of those things. It's just
hoping I have them for a Chantilly for trade stuff because I was actually going to do something I've never done before and trade at a show. And you know, I was, you know, I'm back to being disheartened with them again. It's like
it's
if I
just
didn't have
you would
separate
think they
treatment-
would. That's what I never understood because there was stuff I had out for 19 months. Yet, 6 months ago, people were getting stuff back for specials that that was out for a month. I'm like, what? Like, what's going?
Yeah.
I thought I just saw you were clearing the backlog before you got to that stuff. Obviously, that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
And that's why I've moved more in the direction some cheaper stuff. I send off to CSG and get it back. I know it's going to be about a month in SGC, like a week. Send it, get it back. I'm happy with it. I don't.
Well, the CSG's down to less than 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I'm only going to send PSA, I guess, once they get, registry stuff. I guess, it's kind of, I always say, because I don't care if my registry stuff sits there for months at a time. But, I'm trying to get rid of some stuff, and grading it is a better way to do it. But I'll just take a few dollar loss and just go to SGC, I guess. Get them back and get them out, if I want to do trades and stuff at shows. Because you see more and more SGC. If people saw my pickups from Chantilly, I had Mint, I had KSA. I don't really care. I got everything. And I had
HGA?
There was HGA. There was a huge table that was nothing but HGA. And there was a lot of HGA there represented. And HG was there as well.
Was it you think it was that they just trying to dump it, or you think there's still a market for it? Ooh,
I was trying. I want to think my thought. I was looking because I do not have an HGA card, but I'm not going to pay a premium price for HGA because I don't trust them.
They have nice slabs, nice labels, but yeah, if you get it dirt cheap, cool. But I wouldn't.
Right. I would get one at the right price, and let me tell you, they were not at the right price. Yeah. So somebody wants to know, Mike, are you going to a World Series game?
Unlikely. I signed up for the first round and the second round were pretty easy to get tickets to. I mean, you got like pre-sale codes from buying tickets, and I was able to get them. And honestly, I probably could have gotten more. Kind of wish I did. But the World Series, I signed up for the lottery. I didn't get it. I forwarded the email to like 10 people. None of them got it either. I just looked up before we went on. I think the best price I saw for tomorrow night was $675, which is down compared to what they were. They were like, the cheapest one was probably like $800-900 a few days ago. Now tomorrow is going to be sketchy weather. It's supposed to be potential showers all night, so we'll see if that affects the game or whether it takes place. We'll see how hard it is. Hopefully nothing gets either delayed significantly or postponed. But the
Well,
weather's probably a little issue there. But
I was letting you answer it because I heard y'all talking about it.
It's one of those things I would love to go, but
right.
I don't feel like I'm in the position right now to go spending,
I feel
$700, $800, $900. And if I had never attended one, I'd be more likely. But I was fortunate enough to go to Game 5 in 2008 when they beat Tampa Bay, parts 1 and 2, because that game was suspended by rain. And I also went to Game 5 in 2009, which was a game they won against the Yankees. So I would love to go. I was at Game 5 of the NLCS. I was fortunate enough to go with my brother Tom, who I grew up with, and he lives down in Maryland right now. He came up. We went to the game, and that was just an amazing experience. And I got tickets directly from the Phillies. They were like $100, and it's like $100 for a ticket to a baseball game. Obviously a little pricey, but like that was a experience before the game, during the game, after the game, 6-7 hour experience, like memories locked in your mind for the rest of your life. Getting to share that time with my brother. And we don't get to hang out that much anymore. Like you just get older, you get busy. He's got a couple kids now. Like it was worth every penny. And then now, and you never know what you get when you're going to a live sporting event. And fortunately for us, they won the game, and you had the Bryce Harper home run, and that's like a top 10 moment in Phillies history. So we're always going to be able to, 2 years from now, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, be like, dude, the energy in that place, you feel it. And that's the cool thing about attending games. So unlikely, I wouldn't say no shot, but unlikely I'll be attending a World Series game. But I will be nervously watching every single game for sure.
Well, I heard y'all talking, and then I was like, man, this is just another opportunity for the bot system to just kill everything in the secondary market.
Yeah, there apparently 1 million people signed up for the lottery. I'd like to know how many of them were individuals, and there were a lot. But how many were ticket brokers, with their 74 interns,
Yeah.
Clicking the buttons for 8 hours straight.
Because that's the only way they're on a secondary market. If it was a Philly fan, they're going, right? It wouldn't be on a secondary market. HEA is going to be dead soon. Got an email saying, says
free memberships?
I get a free gold membership for the first year starting a membership program now when they are barely still alive. It's the last nail in the coffin. That's from
I've gotten multiple emails offering free memberships from HGA, so it sounds like desperation is setting in.
Well, I was trying to get into one of the lines at the beginning with just some cards just to see how they graded, and I got frustrated with them. And then the more and more I read, and the more and more, started watching interviews with the Yahoo that owns them. I just was not impressed. Not like I was with CSG, not like I am with Peter at SGC. And I mean, even with PSA, yes, we all have our issues with them, but grading and having, a high level of confidence in their grading is not one of them. I don't think any of them are perfect, but my levels of confidence vary, right? So HEA has no confidence with me at all. For the reasons that are personal, but I used to not speak badly of them, but if they went away, and I'm hearing some good things with Tag that people are impressed. I do like their flip is unique. I think that is kind of cool what they're doing, but let's see when they start progressing to more difficult cards other than just
maybe some vintage stuff.
Yeah, vintage. Because that's going to be more difficult to grade, and your grading is not going to be the same.
I am curious to look in, see when our slabs pick one up. I just was turned off by their infomercials during Hobbypalooza. So
and I still have
I'm just gonna flat out say it.
I still have a lot of issues. I understand them wanting to start slowly, but are they ever going to be able to do any type of die cut? Are they ever going to be able to do oversized cards? Are they, thick cards? There's a lot of questions, and Bobble's right. They're not very clear on what their parameters are, what makes a mint card compared to other companies. So,
and are they going to catch on enough that they do enough business? Because like we talked about earlier, like the crunch is here and the crunch is coming. And again, we're obviously we're in a little bit of a economical downturn, and we don't know, is this something that's going to go on for a few months, a few years? Like, you're already seeing it with even PSA, SGC, CSG. Like, they're having to compete for cards. They're having to not even just compete with each other, compete with the consumers to be like, hey, that's why they got to drop the prices. They're not doing it just to help out. Like, I'm sure they'd like to help their consumers, but like, they have to convince you to send cards because people are tightening up a little bit. So all of a sudden, you're going to start sending stuff to another grader,
Well, people went a year and a half. If they were PSA diehards, they didn't get graded at all. Some people got used to having Raw. I went to that show last week, and Raw was dominant, man. That was a very Raw heavy show. Of course, it was very vintage heavy as well, which you're going to find more Raw, it looks like, in vintage than other levels. But I just thought it was very heavy in Raw cards, period.
Well, I think a lot of people too are coming into the hobby. They like the graded stuff because they don't know what they're doing. Like, they just flat don't. I'm not criticizing people, but a lot of people can't judge, so they feel more confident buying a 10. Now people buy Raw and can look for themselves. This is a 9 or a 10, or does it make that big of a difference to them to have it in their collection? I can't do it with
vintage. So I do not like to buy Raw vintage because I am not a very good
it depends what it is. If it's certain stuff that's cheap, I don't really care. If I'm going to buy a Hank Aaron rookie, obviously, I would like to buy it graded.
But for me,
or I want to be able to get it graded.
Usually because it's a pricier.
Yeah, you're usually trying to be an influencer, buying Roberto Clemente's, convincing others to go chase.
I don't want them to buy them. I want to keep them. I want the price to drop. I don't know how many times I'm not.
No, but you buy it first. You buy a Clemente and you shout it off.
Influencer.
Oh no, you influenced me to get a Clemente.
That's because you were there.
I know, and I was like, "Damn, I got to get one." And I started looking, and then things worked out, and it worked out in my favor as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, what's up, Bobbles? Nice for you.
What up, Bobbles?
Yeah, batteries here. I'm not pro HGA. I'm against anti HGA. You could do whatever you want. I just personally, I'm not a.
I sent them a couple orders back when they came out. They took a little longer than I would have liked. I will say I sent them all like new stuff, obviously. I would not have confidence in them being able to authenticate like
an auto,
a vintage, or like something that would potentially be, faked. But I will say the stuff that I did get graded, and again, it was ultra modern. It's not that difficult to grade. Like, they pretty much graded exactly as I expected. Like, I sent them a few that I thought would be 9s. They got 9s. The 10s got 10s. So I thought their grading was fairly accurate. Small sample size was like 8 cards or something. But they're still like, they're not even really in the conversation of main graders, and their prices aren't exactly that cheap either. So if you like them, I mean, I think it's an option to use, but.
Yes, Amari. I'm telling you now, value boxes are where it's at right now. It seems like. So I lied. That wasn't my last question for you. I forgot one other thing. You opened up. So me and you have talked about this before a couple of weeks ago about the new update and how hot this box is going to be, because this is the actual release of the flagship rookies of these top rookie players that came out this year. So what did you think about? I just started watching your video tonight and I stopped.
Bobby Witt.
Now, is this all out at one jumbo?
Torkelson. No, this is all stack. Stephen Kwan, that's their rookie debut.
And they got it. Well, I want his straight up raw. I think he's going to be legit.
Bryson Stott. There's Jeremy Pena, LCS MVP. It's a lot of rookies. I'd say about 10 boxes. 10 jumbo boxes been opened.
Oh, really?
This is one. Got a 1 of 1. Who do you think I got?
Joey Votto.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, but yeah.
It's a cool card, but
That's cool.
I just looking at him like, you can't make this up. Like, I always hit Joey Votto.
I was so I opened up. This is actually a pretty cool one. I started laughing as soon as I got it.
That's from this year's 206s.
Yeah, the wave that just got really.
I haven't opened any this year. I would like to.
I have not opened a lot. I got like 1 or 2 of each wave.
At the very least, I do want to build that Phillies team set, but I haven't just had the time to look into them. I know they've done a lot more different kind of image variations and different variations this year.
Got that out of a Prism pack.
I did see Prism
Gold.
Prism retail out.
And
retail around me doesn't sit around that long. I know I see images on like Facebook and Twitter all the time. These guys have these pictures with the shelves overstocked with Prism.
Not here.
Like that doesn't happen around here. I don't know if these are either guys who are camping out all day and they're taking it, trying to pretend like the stuff's sitting around, or if maybe it really is just like small towns and big states.
The stuff that's sitting here.
But the Northeast, like other than some hockey, the stuff doesn't sit more than a few days.
Yeah,
now, if you really, really, really want something, you can find it, but you're gonna have to hustle around.
Well, I've been here. The stuff that's sitting here is like the wild cards, the mate, the weird new soccer stuff, the weird branded stuff. I'll sit
the
there.
Overexposed stuff where they pushed it a little too far.
Well, and then when Topps came out, the Topps Chrome blasters are everywhere, just sitting there. So what is it? The mega boxes are always gone, but the blasters are still sitting there. I still haven't got my one from Topps.com.
You have great luck with Topps. They really get stuff out to you quickly.
Yep. So my dad might have opened it. Who knows? It might be in Iowa for all I know. I have no idea. I don't know what rhyme. Sometimes I show up. Now, if they put it out here in the hallway of my apartment, one of my neighbors has got it and probably enjoying it. But
I went through my redemption feed on their site the other day, and I realized I have 3 Yadi Molina redemptions out from 2018 Topps High Tech. I'll ever see them.
I have one for Rosario. Not Rosario. What's his face? He used to be the shortstop for the Mets. I told him even to send me a replacement, and I haven't seen that. So I'm sure that's in Iowa.
I got to try calling them one of these days. I just don't have the time to sit there and deal with that shit for an hour.
I just give up because I have a Saquon that I didn't get from Panini years ago. So
good luck with that.
Yeah, I still kind of ate up about the Star Wars 3D thing that I waited 2 years for to finally get my money back. I bought every Star Wars T206 wave. I bought a couple of each one of those. I'm really interested in that. But anything else from you? Somebody asked also, what do we think about Heritage High Number? I'm kind of the same.
That's coming out soon too, I guess, right?
That's going to probably have some of those rookies in it too. That actually might be a good product for once.
Hopefully, it's got some of them that weren't in the update.
I like Heritage a lot. I just feel like Heritage has lost a level of popularity over the last few years. Maybe it's because
it's not a resale product.
It's one of those things that I think there's still people out there who make the set every year, and there are some
Dave.
people who make the master set, but it just doesn't work with today's
It's not shiny.
the way people are. Yeah, they're hyping the shiny stuff and the highly valued. Like you can get massive hits out of it, but it's tough. And a lot of people don't even want to do the work to look up the variations and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I like Heritage because they'll tell you right on the back, what's going on. Dave, give me a call when you're deciding to make plans for the National. I know you usually do it in December, I think, or first of the year. Get together on that. Also, before we leave, anybody else got anything else?
Dave's probably already making his plans for the National. He's probably so hyped up.
I looked the other day. Of course, they don't have hotels yet on the National website, but like for that weekend, there's not a lot of hotels available. According to that, now they said the same.
They might not have. Did they open them already though? Or
Yeah,
hotels not
right. So far out.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'm trying to. So Dave makes y'all's plans. So I'm trying to get Natsman and his wife and me and you try to get us all, try to get us on the same floor or, whatever we can do.
Hey, we're down to get one of those big presidential ass suites.
We'll just get one king bed for all of us. Anyway.
Sure.
And 4 rollaways. I just want some people I want to thank because this is, like I said, my 100th. First off, my dad, he's been great. I know a lot of people love him. I try to get him on whenever I'm home. I'm trying to get where we can set up some stuff. So maybe we can do some special events for sports. So we can get his take on some things. I want to thank Westergriff, Rick Larson, which was my LCS owner back in Iowa. I was one at Westergriff today, but he's working. Victor, House of Cards, Triple Crown 24 JD or JT, JD, Bobbles, Dave Midlife Card Crisis, Mike Moynihan, Baseball Collector, Don's Field of Dreams, Andy, she blinded me with refractors, Dr. Exclusive Joe, Carlos, Pepino Man, Omar, Retro Hoops. I think I got everybody that's been in my 100. Hopefully 100 more coming your way. And hopefully we just keep it rolling. And I want to thank everybody for my super special extended hour and a half program tonight. Oh, I didn't even see Carlos is on here. I'm definitely have no reason to know, but it might have been wise to have booked a hotel earlier, allegedly. Yeah. Oh, see, Dave says December they come on live. So read them. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if they do that, Bobbles. I think they just go through a like travel agency and they hold a bunch of them for that. Man Snuggles. Yeah. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a good rest of their night, evening. Enjoy themselves. Enjoy the series. Hopefully the Phillies.
Go Phillies. Let's go.
Phillies. And for my Philly fans or Trey Mancini. Either way, I win. Well, my team sucks, so I got to root for everyone after that, I guess.
Yeah, you won 101 games, but
well,
it's a tough way to go out for sure.
Yeah,
Phillies won their best single season was 2011, and they went out in the first round against the Cardinals, and it was like, damn. That's why sometimes the best experiences are when you're not expecting them, and that's kind of what's gone on. It's been a crazy ride for the Phillies, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough, but I'm looking forward to it.
Fan sites want to trade for Ohtani, and SNY is talking about Judge. So who knows? It's gonna
It'll be an interesting off season regardless, for sure.
I think
Trey Turner maybe to the Mets.
No, because they already
there's talk.
Well, if he plays third, I guess maybe he's not gonna play shortstop. Lindor is there, so he could play second and McNeil go to third. But anyway, I want to thank again a special thanks to these guys. I want to thank Natsman from backing me from his first time we ever met to now. Me and him we're on each other's channels. Now he's my guest host every week with me.
Wingman.
And I want to reason why I had Mike on here. Thank you, Carlos, as Mike has backed me up since me and him met on his channel through his cell sites. And then I made the video, 2 videos that he contacted me on was my rant with the same one that Natsman we did with Tops and my card room, aka my sports room, whatever that room I had. And hopefully I'll have another one of those this Saturday. And I just wanted to say thank you, Mike, for all the support. Also, I didn't have on here for some reason Eric, those back pages. He has talked to me a lot offline and in person about keep going. Keep going. If you like to do this, don't let stupid stuff like subs and views and all of that slow you down. Remember why you're doing it. So, till then, like, share, tell a friend. If you haven't subscribed, doesn't hurt you. Go right ahead.
Free of charge. No
right.
membership fees, I don't believe.
No membership fees. I never will on this one. So, till next time. See ya.
100.